Hi guys, Puddin here with game view of my Tier 9 Japanese destroyer, the Yugumo. Now, my captain skills are preventative maintenance, expert marksman, last stand, survivability expert, faster reloading torps, radio location, and of course concealment. My modules are protect my main batteries, better aiming, faster loading torps, protect my engines, faster turning rudders, and of course more concealment. Now we are on the map hotspot, and we are going to try to contest B with my 5.5 detectability. This is a full stealth build. It's also the permanent this is also the premium camo or permanent camo. Now the reason I'm running RPF is because I kind of don't want to get into gun duels, but if I do, these guns are actually very workable, which is why I have expert marksman. It helps me keep my guns to bear while I'm making the turn. I'm also trying to use the island at B as some sort of protection. It's a trick everybody uses, it's a thing everybody knows about, but still you might as well make use of it. But this is why I'm using expert marksman, because I can turn my turrets and actually make a full turn. Don't understand why the enemy Mahan is pushing in. Especially being in a tier 9 game. I am top tier. There are not many tier 9 ships in this game. And especially being top tier, you need to make your presence felt. You need to be known. You need to affect the game, influence the game, and help your team. Now, you see me get off cap. I'm going to try to get back on cap. It's early. Getting on and off the caps isn't the biggest of deals. It's more important to stay alive than to try to get the cap early. Most of the times you can always just come back and get it, you know, if you get the ship lead, but you know, being dead, you cannot help the team, you can't influence the game. As we lose one destroyer to torps that shouldn't have been surprised by anyone. Of course, I do believe the Mahan gets torps on both sides. Not 100% sure about that, but that's how I was playing it. It's been a while since I played my low-tier US destroyers. But this is another reason why I got RPF. A lot of people still sit still and smoke. This will give me a better idea of where to drop my torpedoes. But what I'm actually doing is aiming at the Iowa that's trying to make his way to A. If I get lucky and hit and kill a DD, great. But if I actually hit and kill my intended target, even better. Now, what I am trying to do is get rid of their top tier ships, their playmakers, their influence ships. You know, get them out of the game so the impact will be felt even bigger on A, my side, and B, the enemy side. Losing top tier battleships is not a good thing. Losing top tier destroyers is even worse because, you know, DDs, you know, are the spotters, the smokers. They're the information gatherers. They let the friendly team know where everything is because they can get in close and, you know, spot ships without putting too much of a risk at them. Unless, of course, there's a carrier in play. Then the carrier, it's kind of your fleet protector and gatherer all in one. But, I mean, for the most part, I'm just sailing around in circles at B. But just by sitting here and trying to maintain B or keep B out of their hands is I'm controlling the center of the map. Now, this guy obviously needs to die because he's health. He's obviously spotting me. He's doing his turn to try to get his other torps. If he would have just kept shooting, he could have done more damage. But, you know what, as you can see, there wasn't a lot of things there to support him initially until this Frederick, you know, wildly appeared out of nowhere. I wasn't paying attention to my minimap, and it kind of did surprise me. But it looks like he got hurt pretty bad at A, which is why he might not have been spotted for a while, because he was behind the island. Now, this is what I was saying about, you know, if you need to leave the cap to stay alive, just leave the cap. We have one cap, they have another cap. You know he's running hydro. I know he's running hydro, which is why I stopped my reverse and just started going forward. I'm like, you know what, I need to put distance, hit my speed boost to get out of his Nuremberg range. Knew those torpedoes were going to miss well before I launched them, but I launched them to keep this guy honest. He needed to turn to avoid those torps, which put him broadside to my Missouri, my division mate that was in C. Now, my division mate has been taking one hell of a punishment. His presence has been felt or known by the simple fact of he's taking an awful lot of damage for the team, which means a lot of people are shooting him and they're not shooting the enemy. B's being captain has to be a destroyer. I actually got a torp hit on the Iowa. I thought for a second it was something going to A. Those salvos before I noticed that it was actually on the Iowa. Briefly spot what was on B. See that it is the Pan-Asian DD, and I'm like, okay, what's this guy gonna do? Torp me? You're like, the only thing he can do is shoot his guns. Shoot his guns is gonna keep him spotted. Hopefully the team is going to shoot at him. But I get off cap and then I think, you know, maybe I should dive back in. But no, if I do that, he's definitely going to get off. Now, I'm keeping him targeted with my torpedo tubes because I don't want him to know that I can look at him for guns. I kind of want to surprise him. But I see he's using the island to obviously protect himself. I'm using my RPF for preemptive torpedoes because the gentleman's trying to use the island there. And I slow down, and it's like, you know what, whatever, we're close enough. I can speed up, I can slow down. But I want to beat this guy in shooting me. I'm going to pop my smoke cloud because I know this guy's going to die. As one torpedo hits... stupid shifting. As one torpedo hits, and I finish him off with my guns. But I'm just going to continue reversing into cap because there's... I have no fear of this guy's torpedoes because they're deep water. They'll never hit me. There's no way he can do damage to me. I smoked up to remain hidden from the rest of the enemy that could still see me and could still reset the cap. There's a cruiser there. Might not have the most rapid fire of guns, but he will reload faster than the battleships. He's low health. I might as well finish him off. We are now 11 minutes finally into this game. Have a commanding, not a commanding ship lead, but we have a commanding health pool lead. We are finally getting B, and this is what I mean. I stayed in B. I controlled the center. I stopped their DDs from making any sort of push to our flanks. I was also able to keep battleships from pushing up through the middle to potentially get on anybody's flanks. The team that was at A did one hell of a job of delaying the enemy and staying alive. Kind of wish the guys at C would have been a little bit more active per se in this fight than what it looks like just from paying attention to the minimap. But I'm not going to criticize too hardly because I was not watching their game. Obviously, I was paying attention to mine. But this is what I mean by your top tier ships need to influence the game or have a big impact. There have been plenty of games where I've died in the first 5 minutes, but I've taken out 2 ships, and they happen to be 2 destroyers. That is huge impact. It's a good trade, depending on how many DDs there are, but it's an impact. You know, the enemy team loses some stuff, while we only lost 1. Any time you can get multiple kills before you die is good. It was well worth the trade. Now, I was thinking about smoking up the battleship behind me, but he keeps shooting. To tell battleships not to shoot, so you can smoke them up so they can heal. Most of them don't. I'm a slow typer. Anybody who's played with me, you know, always laugh at me because it's one finger and my mechanical keyboard is fairly loud. Now I'm lining up torps on the the Frederick. I hit my smoke cloud and run into the island. I don't bother slowing down because I wanted to get to the island as quick as possible so I could start shooting with my guns. Now normally I keep my torps looking at him so he doesn't know they're coming, but you know what, being spotted, you just kind of assume he's got half a brain. If not, he's still going to eat a lot of your torpedoes. With this guy being kind of bow on, I knew only 1 or 2 was hit, but I was kind of hoping for the flood. Get the fire right as our friendly Missouri finishes him. I do a little cursing under my breath, but I'm going to do the turn to get to A. I am a capping DD, I am a cap contesting DD, even though there's nothing here to stop me from doing it. I still fall back on my role as I run aground for the second time in this game. And getting on the cap, obviously, to get the cap EXP. These gentlemen are just clearly running away. You know what? If you're kiting, fine. But in a situation like this where you're going to lose, just go at them. Try to do as much damage. If you're kiting to do damage, fine. But at least continue to fight. You know what? If you're kiting and you know you're going to lose, but you're still kiting, still shooting, still fighting, fine, because you're still getting experience. But running away and going dark is just asinine. You save absolutely nothing. All you do is extend the game. As you can see, we are quickly ramping up here. And I'm going to start doing my post-battle results a little bit differently, guys. Let me know what you think about them. I'm going to talk a little bit about that more when they come up. This enemy cruiser doesn't have long to live. I don't know who was shooting at me. And now the post-battle results. Now, instead of sitting here going over all of my medals and ribbons and everything that I've did and saying how much base experience I've got, what place I am on the team, I'm just going to reiterate everything I've kind of tried to talk about in the video. If you're top tier, you need to influence the game. You need to have an impact. You need to remember what ship you are, what your roles are. You need to know who, what the enemy ships are. So you kind of need to know their capabilities, especially at top tier. You don't need to know every single stat, but you know you need to know most Yugumos are running 12-kilometer torps instead of 10. You need to know the difference between the Kigero and Yugumo torps. Obviously, everybody's going to know shimmies because there's just so freaking many of them. But even knowing if the shimmy's running 12-kilometer or 20-kilometer torps just by when they're spotted. If you're top tier, unless of course you're tier 10, you'll always be top tier. But if you're top tier, you need to impact the game. You need to influence the game. You need to make your presence felt. You need to help the team win, because I don't care what kind of big fancy numbers you get. If the team doesn't win, you don't win. It's not going to help out your credits. It's not going to help out your experience, unless, of course, you're playing in Missouri. Then that ship just laughs at everything. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. We do appreciate all the support you guys do give us. We do love the replays you guys send in. The email for that is in the description down below. Remember to compliment good teamwork, good team play. We are quick to report, slow to compliment. Please hit that like and subscribe button and have yourselves one heck of a great day.